Jacob said excitedly. The best part is, her husband is no longer in the picture. Isn't it like God is giving me a hand? Charlie nodded, but then said, Dad, but Mom isn't dead. Jacob's happy expression vanished. He said awkwardly, Don't get me wrong, I'm not wishing her dead or anything. With a sigh, Jacob added, You know, if she were like Yvonne and just ran off with someone, that would be great. Charlie shook his head, feeling helpless. It was obvious Jacob's heart was already with Zoe, who was about to return to the U.S. Any lingering feelings he might have had for Elaine were completely gone. Charlie couldn't help but sigh. If only Claire could accept that her mother just ran off with someone, things would be so much simpler. If Claire felt the same way about Elaine as Jacob did, Charlie could make her disappear from the world in minutes. For someone like Elaine, just letting her live her life, eating and drinking whatever she wanted, was getting off too easy. It would be better to send her to that black coal mine to dig for coal, right alongside Yvonne. Yvonne's crew probably hated Elaine. If Elaine were sent there too, she'd get beaten dozens of times a day, and she'd deserve every bit of it. It was just a shame that Claire was too kind, way too forgiving of Elaine. Jacob was in a great mood. He ate and drank heartily, clearly overjoyed. He kept insisting that Charlie drink with him, but Charlie just pretended to sip, pouring his wine out whenever Jacob wasn't looking. After all, tonight was the first time he and Claire were supposed to actually share a bed, and he hoped they could finally take that next step in their marriage. Getting drunk would be a huge disappointment. Jacob finally had his fill of food and drinks. It was already past 10 o'clock at night. Claire called Charlie to check in. Charlie had to tell her, We haven't found her. I guess Mom didn't go out to play poker. Where else could she be? Claire's voice was filled with anxiety. I called some of Mom's old friends, but no one has any idea where she is. Charlie said, Look, why don't we stop running around like chickens with our heads cut off for tonight? Let's just go home and wait. We already filed a missing persons report, so I'm sure the police will be on the lookout. What do you think? Claire sighed. I guess you're right. Elsa and I are heading home now. You and Dad should come home too. Okay, Charlie replied. He hung up the phone and said to Jacob, Dad, let's go. Jacob slapped his thigh with a grin. All right, let's go home, get cleaned up and get some sleep. You're coming with me to the airport tomorrow morning. Charlie asked in surprise. You want me to go? Of course, Jacob said. Zoe is bringing her son with her. While we're catching up, her son is just going to be a third wheel, right? So you can talk to him, distract him with whatever, and give Zoe and me a chance to chat privately. Okay, Charlie nodded. Then I'll go with you tomorrow. Oh, right, Jacob said, looking embarrassed. Listen, son-in-law, I am completely broke. The money that was left over from buying furniture is gone. For the dinner at the Oris Grand tomorrow, could you help me book a table? Okay, I'll arrange it. Charlie didn't hold anything against the old man. After all, he had always treated him pretty well. So Charlie sent Isaac a message asking him to reserve a nice private room at the Oris Grand for the next day. However, he also specified that it shouldn't be the most luxurious one, because that would be hard to explain. Something upper mid-range would be just fine. Isaac immediately instructed the lobby manager at the Oris Grand to make the arrangements in advance. Meanwhile, at the detention center, the lights were already out, so Elaine could only lie on her hard wooden bed, hungry, with her whole body aching in pain. As soon as she lay down, her stomach started to growl. Bridget, who wasn't far from her, immediately cursed. Elaine, if your stomach is going to make noises, you can get out of bed and go to the toilet so I can get some sleep. Elaine was miserable in her bed. She hadn't eaten a thing in over 12 hours and had been brutally beaten. She was starving, an empty ache in her gut. Even if she could force herself not to eat or drink, she couldn't stop her stomach from growling. But she didn't dare cross Bridget. After all, that woman hit way too hard. She was just trying to pull the covers over her head and go to sleep. But of course, that's when her traitorous stomach let out another loud growl. Bridget shot up, was on top of Elaine in a couple of steps, and smacked her right across the face. The slap made Elaine's already red and swollen face throb, feeling like it might just explode. Elaine could only plead, "I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean it." With two of her front teeth missing, Elaine was lisping badly, making her words slurred and hard to understand. Bridget slapped her again and snarled. As Charlie and I spoke, Jacob's voice filled with anger. "But who? Zoe, what made you have a bite to eat after you land? I can pick you up from the air." Badly, making her words slurred and hard to understand. Bridget slapped her again and snarled, "Damn it, did you lose your tongue? You can't even talk straight? Say it loud and clear." Elaine rushed to say it louder. "I didn't mean it. I'm sorry." As she spoke, the gaps where her two front teeth used to be sent a spray of spit right onto Bridget's face. Bridget wiped her face with her hand, then furiously grabbed Elaine by the hair, yanking her straight off the bed and dragging her into the toilet. Elaine struggled and screamed the whole way, but nobody showed her any sympathy. In fact, everyone else just watched, enjoying the show. Mrs. Wilson hobbled to the bathroom doorway. She watched as Bridget pinned Elaine to the damp floor. Mrs. Wilson smiled and said, "Bridget, make her sleep in the toilet tonight." Bridget nodded, then slapped Elaine and said angrily, "If you even think about leaving this toilet tonight, I'll freaking kill you." Elaine's face was swollen even more, and she was in so much pain she nearly collapsed. She could only nod and whimper, slurring her words. "I'll sleep in the toilet. Please, just stop hitting me, please." Bridget snorted and said, "You think this is bad? Let me tell you, your good days are over. Just you wait." After she finished talking, she stood up, gave Elaine another kick, and then turned to leave. Mrs. Wilson didn't leave. She leaned against the restroom doorframe, looking down at Elaine, who was sobbing on the floor. She sneered. "Elaine, everyone's watching. You're such an ungrateful snake. So you wouldn't let me live in the Thompson villa, thinking you could have it all to yourself? Well, look at you now. You didn't even get to spend a single night there, and now you've hit rock bottom. Do you know what this means? It proves you were never cut out for the high life at the Thompson first-grade estates." Elaine cried out, "Mom, everything that happened before was my fault. I admit it. But you've already had me beaten and yelled at. Please, I'm begging you, tell Bridget to leave me alone. I know I was wrong." "Oh, you know you're wrong now, do you?" Mrs. Wilson snorted coldly. "Do you think I don't know exactly who you are? You kiss up to the strong and bully the weak. If it weren't for Bridget and the other inmates here backing me up, you'd be trying to tear me apart. If a person like you ever truly felt sorry, pigs would fly." The truth was, Mrs. Wilson and Elaine were cut from the same cloth, and they both knew each other's true nature inside and out. Mrs. Wilson knew perfectly well that neither of them would ever truly submit to anyone. The only time they'd back down was when they were forced into a corner. Elaine was on her knees begging now, but only because she had to. Given half a chance to turn the tables, she would make Mrs. Wilson's life a misery. Why shouldn't I be myself? She had no intention of being kind to Elaine. Besides, remembering the humiliation she'd endured at Thompson only fueled her resentment. She said, "You brought this on yourself. Now you get to enjoy the consequences. This is just the first day. We still have 14 more days to spend together." After she finished speaking, Mrs. Wilson snorted and walked out of the toilet. Elaine was left sitting on the cold floor, hungry and shivering. She was so desperate she wanted to cry, but the thought of the terrifying Bridget made her clamp a hand over her mouth. but she couldn't hold it in. She hugged her knees to her chest, buried her face, and finally started to cry. Elaine had never gone through anything this horrible in her entire life. She felt like she'd suffered more in one day than she had in decades. The thought of being stuck in this cell with Mrs. Wilson for the next 14 days sent a wave of panic through her. And when she remembered she might be stuck in this detention center indefinitely, she felt even more hopeless, until she had no tears left to cry. While Elaine was crying on the toilet floor in the detention center, Charlie and Jacob were just pulling up to their huge villa in Thompson. Jacob had been humming excitedly the whole drive home, the pure joy on his face impossible to hide. Claire and Elsa were already back. As Charlie and Jacob walked in, they saw Claire pacing frantically around the living room. As soon as she saw them, she rushed over. "Dad, Charlie, how many poker rooms did you check?" Jacob answered, looking a little guilty. "I lost count. A whole bunch. We drove all over looking for her. Every time we saw a poker room, we went inside to ask." Claire asked, "And you found nothing?" "Nope," Jacob said, waving his hand dismissively. "Oh, Claire, your mother is a grown woman. Nothing's going to happen to her. At worst, she got roped into some pyramid scheme. Don't worry so much." "How can I not worry?" Claire said, her eyes red. "What if she's had an accident? Now that we haven't heard from her, anything bad could have happened. The longer this goes on, the more dangerous it gets."
Think about all the disappearances you see on the news. How many of them have a happy ending? Most of the time, it's a kidnapping, an accident, or even worse. Jacob said awkwardly, "Come on, it can't be as dangerous as you're making it out to be. Do you really think your mother is the type of person criminals would target? Is she rich? She already lost all our money. A robber would have to be pretty desperate to go after her, risking jail time. It would be embarrassing for them." "Dad," Claire said angrily, "how could you say that?" At that moment, Jacob's mind was completely on Zoe. He'd also had some drinks, which made him a little loose-tongued. He didn't seem to care about Elaine at all, and said dismissively, "Look, it might sound harsh, but every word is true. No one would rob her for money, and no one would attack her. What kind of danger could she possibly be in? Besides, you know your mother's temper. Who would dare mess with her? Remember when she yelled out the window in our community? She was so loud every dog in the neighborhood stopped barking. Are you really afraid she's the one in trouble?" Claire was left speechless by Jacob's words. Her expression soured as she suddenly realized. She asked angrily, "Dad, have you been drinking?"
At first,